What's up, everyone? Today I'm going to be showing you how to make Orgy and Raxler 160 BPM style hard techno. To go along this video, make sure to grab this template. It's available at the top of the description. Go ahead and grab it now so you can follow along and also make a really awesome track. If you grab this, you can use it to make your own track and get to the next level. It's got awesome stuff that'll really help your production. Links at the top of the description. Thanks for the support, guys. Every little bit helps, and let's dive in. Alright, so yeah, we're at 160 BPM. First thing we got is our kick. So, these guys have insane kicks, right? And the way it always starts is with the punch. So what we're doing here is we got this kick. I actually shortened it a little bit. Right? And then we're just cutting some subs. So right off the bat, you have to just start with a kick that's solid. You know, when you hear these crazy distorted rumble kicks, it's not really happening so much by having like all these little tiny layers. It's like one big fat kick like this and then a few other distorted layers, starting with this. So now this is that same kick, but what we're doing here is we're high passing it and then distorting it, and we're actually low passing into the distortion with like an LFO on it, doing quarter notes. So there's without. And with, so you can hear it just makes that a little bit more tame, and it's going to fit. And then we're high passing it again, and what happens is you get this kick, and then you put this thing over top using the same kick sample but processed differently, and it creates that like clicky sort of distorted kick you guys are wondering how to make. And then the last layer is the rumble. So the way we're creating this is we're actually using that same kick, right? But again, it's still shortened. We have a reverb, amp, low pass, and then also a little high pass up at like 29 hertz just to cut out a bit of room. And then this auto pan, which is making it just bounce up like it's being sidechained. And then I converted it to mono too, because sometimes these EQs can add some phase issues. And there you go. Now the secret is the auto pan like this, like very chunky and just like that. You don't want it to gradually like fade in. Right? You want to, because you need this to be like a punch. It needs to be not like fading in. It's too smooth. You want this to just be really aggressive. Then the other thing to this is the group processing. So if I turn all the group processing off, we have this kick, right? So the first thing to this is actually going to be a little bit of distortion, right? I like to start with like an amp and a saturator. So you can see these two are working together. They're both just doing a little bit of distortion, because if you do too much distortion with either one of them, it's just going to make the whole thing a big mess. But if you do it like this, they can sort of add together and create something. There's also this pedal. It's only at 3%, but even there it does a lot. And then from there, it's just a bit of filtering. Like into the distortion, we're cutting out some sub, and we're also cutting out right here between like 200 and 300 hertz. And you can hear when we turn this on, it gives us that sort of like scooped kick that you hear, because that's another secret to the sound, is it's like cut around like 200 or 300 hertz. So it's very like scooped and like airy sounding, right? And you want to do that before the distortion, and then after the distortion, we're cutting even more sub that the distortion is adding, a little bit more cut between 200 and 300 hertz, and then we're boosting here for a little bit of punch. I also added this little high pass at 56. It kind of lifts the kick up a little bit. And then finally, the last thing is a limiter. Now if you look, we're not clipping. If you look at the gain right here, we're not clipping into the limiter. So all we're really doing is using the limiter to sort of compress this. And yeah, you can hear it just glues everything and kind of pulls it all together really nicely, right? And yeah, this is a big secret for these kicks. And you might think that that's kind of ruining the dynamics. It's not. It's just filling the kick out a little bit and making it hit a bit more. Then we've got our hi-hats. So really simple, since the kick is already doing so much, and there's so much other stuff happening in this track, you really just want like a, you know, just some hi-hats like that to just kind of sit on top of there. Very punchy sounds though, right? Like this is a very fat hi-hat. This one is too. I shortened this one a little bit. Just again, really hard-hitting sounds to match the hard-hitting kick. And that's really all the drums, because these synths that I'm about to show you are going to fill out the rest of the mix. So the first one is this little stab. This is almost like a psytrance sort of thing, right? So basically, we're playing with the note length. You get these notes that are just did-it, and then the brow, and let it like ring out there. Right? Now this is made using wavetable. It's just one layer. This is like just using one oscillator and getting the most out of it. What we're doing here is we got a saw wave. We're playing with the pulse width and the sync a little bit. Right? And then we have this little pitch envelope, which just goes like into the sound. You can hear that. If I turn that off, right? So that's giving us a nice little movement there. We got a bunch of unison, some distortion into a delay. So here's not the distortion with it, right? Very important to get that sound. The delay, nice and spaced out quarter notes. Then we're just side chaining it to the kick and high passing. Then we got this little screech. So it's just playing one note, but it's a very aggressive pattern. Right? It adds a lot of energy over that kick. So the way we're doing this is it's actually 2 layers of wavetable, and we're kind of creating this like insane pitched screech thing where they're at different pitches, creating that really dissonant thing. See what I mean? When I solo these, you can hear 2 different pitches, and then you play them together, and you get that insane detuned dissonant sort of thing. So for the first one, I'll turn off all the effects on this, and I'll show you. Here's what the first one sounds like. So it's just 2 saw waves here, detuned a lot, and then we have a pitch envelope. And there's also some unison, but the pitch envelope's going like that. Then for the second one, you can see it's actually a different pitch envelope. It's kind of a similar patch, right? Different type of unison though. But then I also added this shifter. So here's without it. With it, it's really subtle, but it's just moving the pitch out of, like a little bit, and it's really taking it like off of the sort of like pitch grid, so to speak, right? And just pushing it to where it's going to be super detuned against the other one. Right, so then you have this. From there, I added a little bit of reverb. Super short though, so you can hear it adding some rhythm. Then we're distorting it really heavy. Right, that's where it kind of becomes what you hear. A little bit more delay. Slight sidechain, not that much, but just a little sidechain to fit it in. And then a high pass filter. And then we got this one. So this is just playing the same note across 2 different octaves. This is another sort of like hard style screech. The way we're doing this is kind of like a play on that last sound. Like, and this is a good technique too, is like if you're trying to create a lot of these little sounds like this, try just having like one that's, and then take it and duplicate it and try to build the other one out of that, like kind of expanding it. So I'll turn off all the effects on this one and show you what it sounds like. Super detuned. So we got 1 layer. And then another one, you can hear they're like different pitches. The first one, 2 saw waves, mega detuned, noise unison, pitch envelope, going whirl like that. And then the second one, very similar, super detuned, saw waves, pitch envelope, classic unison. And then the shifter is taking this one like from this to this. Right, you can hear it's like a whole different pitch. It's playing with the coarse pitch and the fine, and then you put those together, and you're getting this like insane detuned cloud of saw wave. Then we got some chorus, reverb, which is going to distort nicely, erosion, What you can hear is giving it like that sort of like grinding this overdrive, sidechain, and then a high pass. Then the last one. So this is not any kind of screech. This is what this sounds like just in the synth. This is just the same note, C across, or C sharp, down to C, right? So it's very like evil sounding. So this is just one saw wave with the warp turned up a bit, so it's kind of like a pulse width modulation. We got this SMP filter distorted quite a bit. We have an envelope on the cutoff, plus a pitch envelope going wow, plus a little LFO on the pitch as well. Classic unison distortion into a delay, into a reverb, high pass, and then sidechain. And there you go. So that's how you make this style of 160 BPM hard industrial. Again, it's not hard, but you just got to follow these steps. There's a lot of little magic techniques to it. Thank you so much for the support, everybody. Make sure to like this video as well as subscribe, and let me know what you think of this video in the comments. You can grab this full template at the top of the description on my website. Don't miss out, guys. It's a sick template that'll take you to the next level right now. You can get a pro sounding template in your Ableton today, so you can go ahead and build your own hard techno tracks. Thank you so much for the support, everybody. Every little bit helps. Click that link and grab the template, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video.